Hello, hello, everybody. I am here with the amazing Paula today. I am so excited to be here with Paula to talk to you about her journey, about what she's been up to in my world, because it is absolutely blowing my mind. And I knew that so many of you needed to know her, to meet her, and to see what she's up to because she's absolutely incredible. So, Paula and I started working together 5 months ago. She is, I want to say, she's a business and real estate coach, and we're going to go into more about what that means soon. And I want to share her journey. So, welcome, Paula.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
Yay. Okay, so let's start with before we started working together 5 months ago. How was your business going? Tell me how business was. What was happening in your world?
Well, it was up and down. And on average about $10,000 a month coming in. I was offering packages to work with me for 4 months. And this was like, I came up with this just to try to get something moving. It was a $5,000 package. So I was offering, that was to work with me, for 4 solid months for 5,000.
4 months with you, $5,000. And how many clients did you get at 4 months, 5,000?
At that,
Like, like, was it going crazy? Were you having lots of clients?
no, it still wasn't going crazy. No. And that was the thing that was like really frustrating and heartbreaking for me because when I would get in front of a client, things would explode. And it was just frustrating and heartbreaking that it didn't matter how low I went, that nothing, it wasn't working.
So you had so many skills. You were incredibly talented. You're so gifted. When people in your world, their results were amazing. And yet no matter what you charge, you're like, people aren't joining me. And so you're making 10,000 or less a month. And to get those clients, what were you doing? Like,
Oh my gosh. So I was like DMing people and inviting them to like a, $49 class or a free class. And I mean, I would literally take 3 to 4 hours a day and send DMs and would you just like to come and offer it? Um, you know, calls all the time. Anything I could think of, free this, free that, all the
yeah.
things.
So you were doing all this effort, and you were doing a lot of calls. And I think you were doing kind of like a lot of maybe, was it free calls, sales calls? You're doing a lot of those and making less than 10,000 a month, most months.
Yes. Yes.
And so we started working together.
Yes.
And what happened? What happened within a month working together?
So the very first month, my income went from, and I can tell you the truth that it wasn't it like $10,000 a month was average because there'd be 1 or 2 months where I would have
But
more. And
hold
so
on.
it'd be,
You say
yeah.
it was average, but do you actually mean like the most rather than average? Because average,
No.
so was the
Well,
top.
maybe it was more toward the most. Yeah.
I think you
It was,
had you had one $12,000 a month, but otherwise it was
yes,
8.
12, yeah, and then 115 and those kind of things. And really, backstory, what was, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So the very first month, I got involved. We changed my messaging. I raised my prices. I got a lot more convicted about who I was and knowing who I am and how I'm showing up and who I was talking to and who I was for and just like this energy and this movement happened for me and it was like a switch flipped literally and I made $120,000 that first month that I worked with
So
you.
you went from 10,000 on average to 120,000 within a month.
Yes. Yes.
That was
My
all.
my skin is raised right now, even like thinking about it. It was very amazing and literally life-changing because the minute that I saw that could happen and the minute that I had raised my prices very significantly after I got feeling more convicted and knowing who I was there for, I really did change how I was presenting myself, how I showed up, all the things. And I realized also with the conviction, the leadership, and like how I was already leading myself or not. And, I still challenge myself on that. But, it just all of that sort of kind of came together. And so I saw that happen and I was like, well, this is what we do now. This is what we do, right?
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Yeah. I think making that huge shift to get so clear on who you were here for, talking to that person, and because this is the thing, like you know the value of conviction. You know how important conviction is. And so before Paula came to work with me, she would do a lot of work on conviction and she valued conviction a lot. But what she was finding was there was a disconnect between, like, how do I say this? She knew conviction mattered, and yet she didn't know how to stay in a space of conviction.
Right.
Right? And I
Yes.
think I think what you were trying to do, Paula, is you were trying to get yourself to be very, very empowered and very locked in, which because you had it weren't 100% clear on who your work was for, it was really hard. Is that true?
Hmm. Yes. Yes. I would say definitely true.
But
Yeah.
yet, when we actually got clarity on who your work was for, how you serve them, the offers for that specific person, the price point for them, and we matched your messaging to your work, like your conviction was night and day. It wasn't just like, oh, I
Yeah.
felt good sometimes, and yay, I made some money, I felt good, and then I didn't. It was more like you were so locked in, and you're like, oh yeah, it's made $15,000 here, and it was just, who are you? And so, even though conviction's important, I felt like you didn't have a foundation and structure and framework for your conviction to land in, or a way that you could show up and intentionally be convicted and put a strategy in place that was even more intentional than what you were doing, that was going to convert to the clients you wanted over and over again.
Yes.
You know?
Totally. Hmm.
Okay, so the first part, things went crazy, awesome. And then, things are flowing, clients are flowing. That November was a really good month. Like,
Yes.
what was November's total?
Say that again.
What was November's total?
Oh, November's total. I believe it was 245,000, something like that. Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
casually. Okay, just casually. So wait a minute.
I know you used to send me those notes. You just casually say.
Okay, cool. So 245,000. Now, but also November was the month that Paula signed her first two six-figure clients.
Yes.
Six-figure clients. So this has gone from charging 5,000 for 4 months to 100,000 clients. Right, and that was just like the most wild, wild week. I love that. How did that
It
feel?
was all in that one week. I
Yeah.
did it in like 2 days apart. Yeah.
How did
Yeah.
that feel?
It was kind of normal. Like when I presented, I was so convicted and knew what I could do and knew who I was. And it wasn't like I, had to talk myself into it or whatever. It just was normal. And I went into the conversation with both of the different clients, knowing that was what I was there for and how I was going to help them. So, I mean, of course, when it was like, on reflection, it was like, holy shit, I just did this, right? So, and and what I was working on with both of them was just so fun for me. They're ideal clients, just so fun.
Yeah, because these are successful people who are doing really big things, right?
Yes.
It was really
Yeah.
fun. Like, I think before then, a lot of the people who had been coming in were way newer, way newer. Yeah, and they just, I don't think they were in the perfect space to utilize how incredible your skill set is. They didn't have enough in place. But then when these people, it was just life changing. Like you just changed everything for them. So it just made such a big difference.
Yeah, these were people that were CEOs, and I started focusing more on people that had been in business for a while and were looking at, really growing, and they were, making millions, but there was something going on that just was stopping them from exploding. And I started identifying that with them. And so, of course, it would go from 1 million to 8 million or something like that, so it just made sense that they would, pay that kind of
It's crazy. It's
commission.
crazy. And then we got to December. And so you were killing it, business was going well. And then, well, what happened in December?
Well, the more that I was with, and then this has always been the case for me. I've always been involved in real estate. I've always talked about real estate. I've always invested in real estate. And the more that I was coaching these CEOs and people that were making significant amount of money, they would be saying, I'm really thinking about getting into real estate and putting some of this money toward that. I think that would be good for me. And I'd be like, oh yeah. And then we'd start talking real estate, during the course of coaching. And they would say, can you help me? Can you just coach me on that? And then all of a sudden it started being this kind of turn that I was, coaching about sales or team building or, whatever it was. And then we were all in for real estate. And then what started happening too is because I know so many other clients that are interested in this. I was pairing them together. They were, they started like partnering and finding this out. It was just really great for everybody. And so I was excited about it and I started telling you about it. And so being the brilliant person that you are, you mentioned, hey, wait a minute. Wait, hold up. What? What are you talking about here? And you started asking me about real estate and what we were doing. And you were like, why aren't you doing this all the time?
Yeah, I remember that we were on a call and you were saying some things about real estate that, and I was asking about these conversations you were having, and I was asking you about real estate in general. And I was like, people don't know this. People who have money do not know what you know about real estate. Like even me, right, who has plenty of money to make investments and things. Some of the stuff she was saying, I was like, wait a minute, what? I didn't always thought real estate was this was different to what I thought. And I suggested, I was like, this is something you're amazing at that I think needs to be part of your message. I think it needs to, could even be your whole thing that you do. And so this conversation was only 3 weeks ago, like not too long ago at all. And I was like, do you want to bring in this to your messaging? Do you want your business to maybe go in this direction, And you seemed really eager for it when I suggested it. And so we started doing that a little bit. And how's that been going?
Well, how would we say swimmingly?
Yeah.
So it has exploded, like the word insanity that you use, insanity, right? So I put together a master class and I didn't really know if I wanted to do it. And I was like, what do you think, Emma? And she was like, you have to do this because even if they listen for 10 minutes, they're gonna be in. And so I put together a master class and then of course the holidays happened and all the things, but all of these people were coming forward that especially people that I wanted to run a mastermind and put that together. And what happened is people would contact me about the mastermind and they would start asking me after we talked for a minute, holy shit, can you just coach me one-on-one? Can you just help me blow this up? And so the answer was yes. And how fun is that? And in the last 5 days, I've all together with the fee for coaching as well as some investment price, some extra profit investment. I've brought in about $165,000 in 5 days. Yeah. So, and
100,
I'm sorry.
165,000. What?
I know. And it really has been really, yeah, since the beginning of the year. So it's in the last 5 days.
But because this is the thing, you're just so good at this. Like you are so freaking good at this. Like you have such a unique perspective on this stuff. It's like listening to you, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to sign up for your program because this is ridiculous. Like the changes you make with people, how much you help them, but you get this like nobody else. Like you really, really do. And
Thank you.
and it's amazing because honestly, you did that masterclass, and some people came through for that masterclass, but a lot of people, you've just been putting a few. How many bits of content have we honestly done around real estate? There's been some, what, 10, maybe 12 in the past few weeks? I don't know. But the perfect people are just like, oh my gosh, I need to speak to you about this. Like, this is exactly what I need. And they're coming in at, 25, 50,000. And then like with a profit percentage of profit thing set up and stuff, it's like it could be 100,000. I like it's just amazing. But these people also, I think what I love about it for you too, is the people she's working with, guys. They're not just people who she's working with a limited period of time. A lot of them, they're becoming partners with her. So she's helping them long term with their real estate investments, getting a percentage of profit. Like
Yeah.
crazy the potential. If you worked with someone for a year, it'll be way more than six figures. Like versus if you got the coaching fee, that will probably be six figures low. But then like actually the other things, you were looking 200,000, 300,000, I'd say, at least
Right.
based on the kind of deals you're getting people involved in. It's amazing. Like it's just wild. It's absolutely wild.
Well, and what I love about it too is if I'm making that percentage of profit, that means that they're making so
Oh,
much,
but that's
so
exactly
much
it. Like
money.
this is sure you're getting amazing pay, right? Because you're just such an expert at this. But these people that you're serving, you're helping them take their wealth and make how much money? Like it's actually crazy. Because here, guys, okay, let's be clear. The conversation came with Paula. We were talking about this. That's about wishing with the clients, and we're talking about real estate. And I said to her, because for me, like I don't really know like much about the real estate thing. In my eyes, I kind of thought this is what I thought. I thought real estate was like you buy a property and then you hold on to it for 5 or 10 years and it goes up in price. Or you buy a property and you get some tenants into it and then they pay your mortgage and you make a bit more money and it goes up in price. Yay, capital gains over time, right? What like that was my perception. And so when I said, well, what do you actually teach here? And asked a couple of questions, I was like, this is the most insightful thing in the whole world. This is how it kind of came up because she's so smart and she really knows her stuff. And so the amount of money you're making people is just like it's mind-blowing. Like it's just like
Yeah.
what is this? It's crazy the potential. It's
Yeah.
absolutely
People will come to me and say, well, do you think I can make $95,000 this year? And I'm like, yeah, next month,
yeah. That's like that's the thing. I just you've got such extensive knowledge. You get this industry, you know the options. It's not just as basic as I just tried thought it was. Um, and so many people can do it across so many different levels, depending on whether they're studying. But like it's actually just crazy. It's crazy what you're sitting on this gold mine. And so when she shared, like, we started talking about real estate, and I was like, this is like my brain was like this. And like look at it. Like, and from even the clients you've brought on, because of probably the partnerships you're gonna do long term and whatnot, like this is a lot of money we're talking about. Like, there is no reason. How many million are you gonna do this year? Like two, three, five?
Three.
Like honestly, it can like it would not surprise me if
Yes.
you did minimum 5 million this year.
That's, yeah.
After coming to me making probably at 100, well, I actually think it was less than 100,000 in the year.
Oh yeah, it was like, it depends on the year, but I think my best year was 75 or something, or,
Yeah,
I always supplemented it with what? Real estate.
yeah,
That was how,
yeah.
so
But I just think this is what happens when you're truly in your zone of genius. When you are helping people in this thing that you are so convicted in, not because you're talking yourself into conviction, but you genuinely know how good you are. This is what happens. This is what happens. And this is where, like, both of us have talked about the energetic side versus strategic side. Energy can matter, guys. Energy can be great. But I think a lot of the time people see energy as convincing yourself to believe something that you don't. When you know how to speak to the people your work is genuinely the best for, that you already believe in it, you're already locked in, and you change their lives through your messaging for your right people, the energy side automatically happens. And that is when your results are so, so, so consistent. It just blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. So, what was it like working with me?
life changing, like life period changing. So what is really, um, I mean, it's kind of like a whole support system in one person who's absolutely brilliant, right? And so there, it's not only strategy, it's your message, it's strategy, it's, where's the wobble, all the things. And so for me, it's, I was thinking, I came on honestly thinking, well, I need to fix this messaging. I mean, there's something wrong with my messaging.
Yep.
And so I was like, let's get this fixed. And that's where I thought that we were going to spend a lot of time. And we do spend time on that. I mean, we need to spend time on that. But But it has been, what's going on in your business? What about this idea? Why are you doing this? What are you really having fun with? It's so much bigger than only messaging and not only, but it's so much bigger than that gift. And you're brilliant at it. I read your posts and read your posts. I told you that today. I was like, I read these and reread these and reread these. One day I'm going to be just as good, I hope. But it's just amazing. And it's sort of an otherworldly brilliance. It really is. It's like such a gift to be coached by you and the brilliance that comes through for me and it's dead on. It's dead on. It's like, where did she get that from? Damn. But it's just beautiful. So I cannot recommend it or talk about it. It literally life changing. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. But I agree with you. It's like, but the reason I'm obsessed with messaging and I love focusing on messaging is because your message shows everything. And yes, it's deeper than that. It comes down to your identity. It comes down to your zone of genius. It comes down to how you're most impacting the world. But if that's not clear inside you, your messaging is off a mile away.
Yes.
And if your message is everywhere, often you're not 100% locked in internally on how you actually serve people and who you serve the most, and you're not talking to people who you can serve the best. I think before you came to me, the reason your business wasn't crazy because in a way, you weren't serving the people who you could genuinely help the most. You were serving everybody. And if your guys,
Mm.
when we're serving everybody, we internally, we don't feel fully confident about it because we know it's not worth it. If you want to charge high prices and you're trying to talk to everybody, it's literally not worth it to everybody. And so you're like, here's my price point. No one buys. This is what so many people are dealing with in this industry. And so unless you know how to speak to, connect with, and communicate with the people who your work is actually valuable for to get paid the money you want, you're going to end up doing all the content, doing everything, doing these masterclasses, doing the content. And you're going to feel like all these people are kind of semi-interested just to say, no, I can't afford it, and so I think messaging is such a strong foundation, but of course it's deeper than that. It's about you having a business you love, you having a business where you're serving people in a really incredible way, that you're changing their lives, you're getting them these amazing results, which is exactly what you're doing with all of your clients now. You don't have clients on your calendar who you're like, this person isn't really getting a result because I could help with them, but they made 10 times more than the time we're meant to have, and they're making this investment and this isn't quite right. And da, da, da. Like it's hard. It's way harder. And so I just love it so much. And so how much are you working these days?
That has been very interesting to me because back when I was making like $5,000 or $10,000 or maybe even $12,000 a month, it was like in this mode of I better be working. I've got to find clients. I mean, I gotta dig the gold kind of thing. I gotta, gold mine or whatever it is. And I would be working, easily 70, 80, hours a week and all the things. And I started, especially the first month, like I started having higher clients that paid more. And so it didn't have to have like 100, it could have 10 and whatever. And I would literally be looking around and thinking, oh, I've made all this money and I've got all this time. I mean, what can I be doing right now? Like, and I spent literally, a lot of time walking on the beach where I live. I moved to my house at the beach and spending time in that way and enjoying that. And so, it's a lot less work, a lot less. And I'm more used to it now, but and it was so joyful during the holidays, and I had a session with Emma right before the holidays, and she said, "Well, how's things going?" And I was just like, I just went online and bought all of my Christmas presents, and I started crying. I'll do it again. And there was no concern. It was like, I have enough and I'm more than enough. And, this was so easy and it's coming so easily and feels right. And I was remembering the time exactly a year ago where I was taking on another job just to be able to afford. Christmas presents and worried, like sweating it when and I don't want to set that up that's, whatever, but it has literally changed my life. And not in terms of only the money, it's in terms of how I show up, how I trust myself, how I trust what I'm doing, um, you know, my leadership, my presence, it's all different. Yes.
It's amazing. Well, from my perspective, it has just been. Oh, we're talking like we're not continuing to work together, by the way, guys. We're like locked in. Don't you worry about that. Like we're talking like it has been. Anyway, it has been just.
It is ongoing. Yes.
Yeah. It has been unbelievable watching you transform. Like I just, yeah, from just even the first time had that first session, I was like, this woman, she knows her shit. Like she is talented. You guys can't, I can't express to you how excited I get. My downward session with someone, I'm like, you got the goods. And so, um, it has been amazing. Just like watching you transform, watching you change lives, watching. Like it just blows my mind, even like just knowing that, like even just thinking back to who you were 5 months ago and how you
When
saw
I was running through the airport and chart and
signed your $5,000 client for 4 months. And I remember she's like, oh, like we just started together. And she's like,
yeah.
oh, guess what? I got a client today. I was like, what? This is amazing. Tell me about it. She's like, yeah, it was a 4 month client. I was like, cool. And what was the price? $5,000. I was like, wait, what? Like I was like, wait, what is this?
That emoji.
What is this? I was like, this is at Paula. I don't know if you'd like jumped in and we just like jumped into boxes before we had a call. And I was like, okay, hold up. Like, let's just make some changes. Anyway, and now she's become a different person. And so, I don't know, you're just amazing. And I love doing this work with you. And we just like, it's only been 5 months. And so I don't know how many million we're going to do this year, but it's going to be so much fun. And
Absolutely.
I'm just excited to just keep taking it to the next level and make it really, really
Yeah.
powerful. And
Thank
so,
you. Thank you so much. This will be a $500,000 month. I've
oh,
decided.
yeah, easily. Let's go. But thank you so much, Paula. You are just absolutely brilliant. And
Thank you for everything you've done, everything you are. Thank you.
thank you.